play action out of the shotgun. Harrison Phillips trying to give him his first sack. Josh Metellus forced a fumble. It's bouncing about, picked up by Jordan Hicks. 40, 30, and is loose! Touchdown! Jordan Hicks, with the second touchdown of his career, has run the Minnesota Vikings to an 18-6 lead.
Voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen on that thrilling call. He's joining us now in TCO Studios alongside Gabe Henderson for this 2023 season recap. My name is Tatum Everett, and we had some exciting moments this season despite the 7-10 finish. And PA, I'll send it straight to you first. That was your favorite defensive moment. When I asked you to tell me which one it was, why is that?
Well, first and foremost, it's really not up to me to establish, what my favorite call is. I guess that would be up to the audience. But for the purpose of this, and you stressed you wanted something like this, my voice cracked during the DJ Wanham scoop and score.
DJ Wanham, touchdown!
Which I actually liked more than the
That's
one.
fair.
We had a big voice crack at the end, but I was so happy for Jordan. And I like Jordan so much, and I have so much respect for him. And it was his second defensive touchdown, and it was kind of a turning point of the game. So, yeah, that's how I got to that.
Yeah, it was his first fumble recovery for a touchdown of his career,
Yep.
which is so impressive, obviously. The standout performance has continued on defense. Gabe, I'll toss it to you. What was your favorite?
I'm just going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders game in just its totality. To hold a team scoreless at home, that is a huge just accomplishment. I'm just looking at the last time the Las Vegas Raiders got shut out at home was 2011 when they were the Oakland Raiders. And just Brian Flores, just the different schemes that he provided, the different angles that he used to attack Aiden O'Connell, that was one of the best performances defensively that I had seen in my life. And to hold a team to less than 200 yards, where they do that at?
Yeah, according to True Media, only 22% of their offensive snaps were successful in that game.
Yeah.
22%.
Crazy.
And you
Crazy.
could tell with the whole goose egg on that side. My favorite defensive moment was the Cam Bynum second interception to seal the 49ers win. I thought with the way the season started, that was such a defining moment for this group, that they could contend with the best in the NFC. And to see Cam Bynum get 2 interceptions in that game, I thought was just kind of one of his best performances of the year, despite being the team's leading tackler.
And not to get too off track here, but this just hit me with defensive moments. There were so many moments this season, sadly because of turnovers, where Flores' defense was put up against it right by the goal line, and it causes me to hearken to Lambeau Field. When Jaron Hall came in, there was a strip sack, and then Jordan Love's offense went backwards and then went 4 and out. So I'm just so many good defensive moments.
I mean, 7 shutouts this year in the NFL in its totality, and the Vikings were one of those teams that had a shutout this year. So huge kudos to Brian Flores and just leading this defense this year.
It was an exciting group to watch this season for sure. We'll flip it to the offensive side of things, and I'll start with you, PA. What was your favorite offensive moment of the year?
Ty Chandler's first National Football League touchdown, and quite honestly, it's not close because I like Ty a lot, and Kevin O'Connell's been quite fond of Ty all the way back to last year, just because of his work ethic. He's a quieter kind of guy, and he just really gives everything he has. But then he got an opportunity, and these opportunities are hard to find. And not only are they hard to find, but then you have to come through. And he did. And I just remember hugging him in the locker room after his first touchdown. He had the ball and everything. And yeah, that's my answer.
I'm just thinking about that touchdown also. Ty Chandler placed the ball underneath his legs when he scored and ran to the sideline. It's like, dude, that's your first NFL touchdown. Go grab that ball. But it pretty much explains his personality and who he is as a person. I'm going to go with another quiet guy, and that's Jordan Addison. That 60-yard touchdown catch against the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football was something that I believe was one of his greatest performances. If you rewind back to the third play of the game, he got the ball snatched away from him against Charvarius Ward. And then fast forward 3 drives later, Charvarius Ward, Jordan Addison, one-on-one.
Unbelievable.
Charvarius catches the ball initially, and then Jordan Addison snatches it away, 60-yard touchdown. I know Jordan Addison says the Los Angeles Chargers game was his welcome to the NFL moment. If that was his welcome to the NFL moment, that San Francisco 49ers game was welcome to the Jordan Addison experience.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns on the year for the rookie. What a great season by
Phenomenal.
Jordan Addison. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson. I know it's kind of an interesting pick maybe because he did miss out on 7 games this year, but I was just so excited to see the touchdown in the final game of the year, which gave him the 1,000 yards. He's only the 3rd player to get 1,000 yards in 10 or less games in the NFL. And we've seen moments of him before where maybe he was short of a record and couldn't grab it. So I think that was, for me, a very, very large moment and key moment as he entered his, probably toughest season that he's had in the NFL. He's never really been injured before.
Yeah, and he's such a quality human being. He's just such a sweet man that he's very easy to pull for.
Yes, I 100% agree, and you compound that with just what he does on the field, and it's like, how can you not root for this guy?
Yeah.
Missing 7 games and still conquering that feat of 1,000 yards.
Yeah, 4 seasons he's been in the NFL, 4 1,000-yard performances. Just absolutely incredible. Hope to see more of him. That's for sure. He is one of the veterans. However, we are going to take a bit of a spin on the MVP conversation and do the MVV conversation, the most valuable veteran. PA, who is your most valuable veteran from the 2023 season?
It's an interesting question because there are several candidates here, and veteran leadership was needed when you started going through all of this injury-related adversity. So that got me to Kirk Cousins. And he didn't play the full season, but he's the most valuable veteran. I mean, with all due respect, look what the team went through after he went down. And really, with O'Connell, Flores, and the rest of the staff, what an unbelievable job they did to keep these things close and like, wow, we have all these injuries, we're going to win, and then, somebody drops it or something like that. So Cousins is one of the very best quarterbacks in the NFL, and this is a throwing team that's extremely good passing the ball when it has its full complement. And this guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, so he's quite valuable, and that'd be my answer.
Yeah, he was tied for the most touchdown passes in the NFL and ranked 2nd in passing yards before he ruptured his Achilles in week 8. So he was on pace to have a career season. I like that pick, Gabe. What about you? Or PA. Gabe, what about you?
Yeah, I was just thinking about Kirk Cousins. When he was playing, one of his top options when Justin Jefferson went down was T.J. Hockenson. And T.J. is my most valuable veteran because with Kirk Cousins, T.J. had almost 500 receiving yards in those 8 games. When Dobbs became the quarterback in those 5 games, T.J. Hockenson had over 300 receiving yards.
Wow.
Fast forward to Nick Mullins, T.J. Hockenson had 14 receptions, 166 yards. So clearly, he was the bailout guy for all 3 quarterbacks, including Jaron Hall, who only started half a game. So T.J. Hockenson, he missed 2 games this year, still almost had 1,000 yards receiving, was our breakout player all year long. And I just believe if he was healthy, we probably win some of those close games down the stretch later in the year.
Someone you needed to step up in the wake of Justin Jefferson's injury. And of course, we wish TJ the best with his recovery as he gets ready for the upcoming season. My breakout star, I'm going to go on the defensive side of things, and I feel like it's a bit of a no-brainer. I'm picking the Pro Bowler, Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, I almost picked him.
Yeah, it's a very close call. I think that, like you mentioned about the veteran presence, how important that was in this youth-led Brian Flores defense. It was great to have an anchor on the pass rush up front. I think that without him, this probably would have been a very meager, maybe you could say, pass rush. He had 16.5 sacks, a career high for him. That actually counted. I did the math because, math nerd over here. No. He had a career high 16.5 sacks, accounted for 51% of the team's sacks.
Wow.
So when you take that out of the equation, 22 quarterback hits on the year.
Well,
for me, he was definitely MVP.
See, with Danielle, this still is just the 2nd year of standing up as an outside linebacker. So there's still a transition there for him. His tackles for loss this year, I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like it in his career. This is the best, most cohesive work against the run Danielle Hunter ever has done in his life. And Flores has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, 23 QB hits or 23 hurries. I mean, it was a Jordan year indeed for Danielle Hunter as he finished the 2023 season. I just remember just that Atlanta Falcons game, what he did in the run defensive portion of the game. That's something that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but his impact was felt all year.
Yeah, he also added 4 forced fumbles, which you always love to see. Love to see. Well, we love to see new faces emerge as the 2023 season rolled along. So let's go down here. We'll pick one each. Who is our 2023 breakout star?
Well, for me, speaking of forced fumbles, it's going to be Josh Metellus. Now, I wasn't going to bring this up, but since you mentioned it, Josh finished the season with 4 forced fumbles, which tied a Vikings record for defensive back forced fumbles in a season. Wow. Really hoping he got one against the Lions, he would own that record. Take your pick here with Josh. Do you like him as the corner, the nickel, the outside linebacker, the blitzing inside linebacker, mugging the A-gap, or as a strong or a free safety? I like him at everything, but here, this just blows me away. He played 1,065 defensive snaps this year, 94% of the snaps. Wow. That's 4 times more than all of the defensive snaps he had played in his previous 3 years.
That's incredible.
And he kept getting stronger as the race got longer.
Wow.
So excellent timing with the signing of Josh Metellus early in the season. He loves it here. He's a heart and soul kind of guy for this defense. I just love him, and he had an awesome season.
Clearly, the Vikings knew what they were doing when they signed Josh Metellus to an extension. I believe it was June or July, and we were trying to figure out, like, Josh Metellus, he hasn't played much, and then look at what he did.
Breakout star.
Exactly. My breakout star is a guy who kind of helped Josh Metellus when it came to mugging those A-gaps, and that was Ivan Pace Jr., undrafted rookie, a guy who came in from University of Cincinnati, led college football in tackles, and still didn't get drafted after his senior season. Right. Fast forward to that Las Vegas Raiders game. I know we brought it up earlier. Ivan Pace had 13 tackles, a sack, an interception that game. That was pretty much welcome to the Ivan Pace experience. And just looking at a guy that was, not expected to come in and start, to lead all rookies in the NFL in tackles, and to be in the top 5 in almost every statistical category on this Minnesota Vikings defense. What more can you ask from a guy that's only 22 years old, that turned 23 against the Cincinnati Bengals and still had a breakout performance this year?
Hats off to the Viking scouts and front office for finding a gem like that in undrafted free agency mix. Conversely, I'm going to go with the #1 draft pick from last season, Jordan Addison. It always feels good when you can get that first pick to hit, and boy, did he hit this year. We've already talked about him a little bit with his 10 touchdowns this season, but I'm so impressed with his body control and the ability to make catches that are contested or maybe not thrown in the best of situations. He's caught balls at his shoelaces. I recall the toe tap out of the sideline where he controlled it and he tried so hard to get his 2 feet in, and it was beautiful. He did a great job there. I am so impressed with Jordan Addison. Cannot wait to see what he can do in the future here.
Yeah, I know you guys are talking about what he did in the receiving game, which is great. I believe he had a phenomenal season. But one thing that stood out to me being a former receiver is what he did in the run blocking. I believe that first game of the season, he almost got Justin Jefferson killed, basically trying to block on a screen pass. He let the DB come, and he didn't brace himself for contact. And fast forward about 10 to 12 weeks later, Jordan Addison was blocking DBs off the sideline. It was one of those things where you look at a receiver and you say, okay, you have to catch the ball, you have to run routes, but blocking is a want-to thing. And clearly Jordan Addison wanted to be a possession, a full first down wide receiver, but also a complete wide receiver in this NFL. And I just love what I saw from him, and I'm expecting just another leap in his game in year 2.
Well, it's better than having a good wide receiver 1 or a great wide receiver 1. A great wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
And a dynamite tight end 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to be optimistic about as we head into the 2024 offseason. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us here. We appreciate you for tuning in and recapping the 2023 season. We have a lot of exciting things planned for you here at Vikings.com and the Vikings app as we head into the 2024 calendar year. Thanks for watching. For Gabe, PA, and myself, we will see you next time.